That's a very good argument, Malik. As Malik is saying, okay, let's say they started doing zina, right? Then okay, then you need to say, then what you need to start to do is, actually you guys start praying. Right? Why? Because inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Indeed, the prayer prohibits people from fahsha, from sexual indecency and munkar, and from evil. So what is the solution to that problem anyway? You're obviating those people that you're accusing of something from being able to reform themselves from those accusations by the very thing that might have reformed them in the first place. Right? So it's a very good argument. So, and then Ibn Hazm makes a point. Abu Hanifa allows women to travel alone in deserts and forests for 2.5 days, right? Not for 3 days, because then she'd become a traveler. That's why he says 2.5 days, without any karaha, without any dislike, right? So why can't she go to the mosque, right? She can go to a forest, she can go to a desert, 2.5 days without any mahram, because she's not musafira, right? For 2.5 days and come back. Why can't she go on a short trip to the mosque and come back? It's not a desert, so this is what he says. And finally, Aisha did not stop anyone, even if Aisha said this. Even when Aisha said this, she didn't stop going herself. You've got to take that into account. And she never stopped anybody going. And also, Aisha dies in the year 57, right? She could have said this any time after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, which is in the year 11, right? So between 11 and 57, she could have said this statement. We know that much, right? This is the period in which she might have said it. Between 11 and 57, you've got Abu Bakr, you've got Umar, you've got Uthman, you've got Ali, the 4 khulafa, right? Ali dies in the year 40. He's killed in the year 40. After that, you have Muawiyah, who's also a Sahabi, who dies in the year 60, right? So Aisha could have only have said it when the Sahaba were leaders, right? They didn't take this opinion of Aisha. They didn't implement this opinion of Aisha and try to prevent women from going to the mosque. They could have seen, they were also there. Aisha's not the only person. They could have seen what Aisha was said. They could have seen what's happening. In fact, it would have been their responsibility. But nobody ever prevented women from going to the mosque. None of these khulafa. In fact, if people want to use this statement of Aisha radiallahu anha, Aisha has other opinions which you don't take. Aisha's opinion is that a woman can breastfeed an adult, right? 5 rada'at, 5 mouthfuls of breast milk, and that adult will become a brother or a sister to that person, a brother or sister to that person. Because breastfeeding makes people brothers and sisters from a young age, right? Milk brothers and milk sisters, you know that, right? But Aisha's opinion was that this was her opinion, and she actually enacted it, right? So okay, but you don't take that opinion, but you take this opinion that goes against this whole body of evidence, right? So it's selective. Yeah, do you agree? Yeah, yeah, Sheikh. Please, tafaddal. Yes.
Aisha radiallahu anha had that opinion, but just to make things clear, her position was that not that the man would.
Oh yeah, of course, directly. Yes. No, jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair.
In a container.
In a container. Yes. Yes, mashallah. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah. Yes, of course. Jazakallah. Thank you for the clarification. That Aisha, obviously you use a container to but my point was, and it's good that Sheikh Abdul Alim is here because he clarifies some of the confusions that I make. Okay, Abdullah ibn Umar. Okay, so that's one thing that they use. Do you guys appreciate let's have a bit of a any kind of. What are your thoughts on what Ibn Hazm is saying about the hadith of Aisha? What do you? Does it? What are your thoughts? Does it make sense? His arguments. Does it make sense to people? Or are there any comebacks? Huh? Makes you think.
Well, it's not not really shares opinion, so to speak, but it gives you that chance to share your opinion. It goes up from
different angles. Yeah, so you can appreciate how the scholars looked at these reports. And actually what Aisha's doing, what she must be doing, and Ibn Hajar Ibn Hajar says this is not a fatwa. This is the most likely opinion. This is not a fatwa from Aisha. Right? It's not a fatwa. She's just speaking rhetorically. She's speaking, and I think Ibn Hazm also says this. She's speaking in a certain way just to say that women shouldn't be doing this. That's what she's saying. Okay. Now, there's this hadith of the wife of Umar as well, right? Now, Umar radiallahu an used to pray Fajr and Isha. His wife used to pray Fajr and Isha in the mosque in Jama'ah. And she was asked, why do you still go when Umar dislikes it and has ghayrah? So Umar dislikes his wife Atika to go to the mosque. But the reason given here is here, ghayrah. You know ghayrah? Do you guys know what ghayrah means? Huh? No? Yeah, kind of jealousy. Protectiveness, exactly. So the best word is protectiveness or possessiveness. Protectiveness is the probably best. So he had this kind of protectiveness because she was quite beautiful, right? So she would go out, and he kind of didn't like that inside himself, right? Right? But Atika said, people said to her, why are you going out? Omar doesn't like it. She said, if that's the case, why doesn't he stop me? Why doesn't he stop me from going? And the narrator said of the hadith, before Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, what stopped Umar ibn Khattab, this is in Bukhari, is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't stop women from going to the mosque. Umar knows this hadith. Umar knows the sunnah of the Prophet. He doesn't dare to do anything like that, yeah? Just a point here, right, by the way. Just because you feel something inside yourself doesn't mean that you act upon that. And doesn't mean you're accountable for that. We had a discussion on polygamy yesterday, right? It doesn't mean that women have to, women don't like the fact that they have to be co-wives. That's natural, right? Aisha wouldn't have been necessarily over the moon that the Prophet ﷺ had another wife coming along, right? That doesn't work that way, right? You can have what your own feelings are inside as long as what your mind says is in accordance with the Quran and with the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ. But to feel what you feel is natural. What to feel, so just because you feel something, somebody might feel attraction to somebody, a person of the opposite sex, you're not accountable for that. What you're accountable is what you do in response to that attraction. Do you carry on looking? What do you do? That's what you're not accountable. Even when it comes to, same-sex attraction, you're not accountable for same-sex attraction, right? In Islam, you're accountable for acting upon same-sex attraction, right? Somebody isn't less because they have this, this attraction, right? They're still Muslim, right? They still can be very muttaqi Muslims, right? But if it's acting upon it that is not allowed in Islam. So that's just a point to make there. So Umar what I'm trying to say is that Umar radiallahu might have had this ghayrah, he might have felt this, but that's not in his control. Just like in polygamous situations, when the Quran says that you should be just, but in another place the Quran says you can't, in a co-wife situation, you won't be able to be fully just. فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. Don't incline too much. Because what's in the hearts, you might love, just like if parents have children, they might love one child more than another child. That happens. Yaqub alayhi salam loved Yusuf more, right? And the other brothers felt it, right? That's not something you can control. So Umar isn't saying anything here. Umar is just feeling what a human being would feel in somebody like him for his wife. Okay, now to finish, we're getting to the end. So there are some hadiths which basically state explicitly that women's prayer at the mosque, at the home is preferred. There are some hadiths, and these are them, right? So this narrator, Abdul Hamid, says from Hamid, who says from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your prayer in your house is better than your prayer with me. So this is what the Prophet said to Hamid, this woman. Your prayer at home is better. Don't pray with me, pray at home, right? This is in these, Ibn Abi Shayba and Musnad Ahmad, right? So again, not Bukhari, Muslim, Muwatta, not those, not even in the 6 books. It's outside of the 6 books, right? Now Ibn Hazm says this narrator is majhul. He's not known. We don't know who he is, right? So he contravenes, there's a contravention of the very first condition of sahih here. It can't be sahih because we don't even know who he is, right? So this can't be sahih. So this doesn't, and Ibn Hazm says, how can a hadith like this stand in the face of all the authentic narrations. Can't happen. Secondly, there's another hadith, which is this one, which is from these people, Abdullah ibn Raja, from Jarir, from Abu Zur'a, from Abu Hurairah, that the Prophet ﷺ said, the woman's prayer in her secluded room is greater for her reward than her prayer in her house. And her prayer in her house is greater in reward than her prayer in her dar, which basically means the bigger house. Her prayer in her dar is greater than her prayer in the mosque of her people, and her prayer in the mosque of her people is greater than her prayer in the mosque of congregation. And her prayer in the mosque of congregation is better than going out to pray on Eid. Yeah? So this is what the hadith says. So the closer you are to home, and the more inside of your home you are, the better your prayer is according to this hadith. Now Ibn Hazm points out that this second narrator at the top, Jarir ibn Ayyub al-Bajali, is accused as being a fabricator. So again, the very first condition of hadith authentication has been violated, and he says that this, he doesn't say, but this narrator Jarir has been discredited strongly by all of Bukhari, Abu Hatim, Nasa'i. So both of these narrations don't stand up to scrutiny. Right? The Prophet ﷺ in another narration says that women should go